Welcome to the Attorney Marketing Institute podcast. This is the podcast where you learn simple but effective ways to grow your law practice in just 1 hour a week. That's right, this is not your grandfather's podcast, and we're not talking about your grandfather's marketing. We're talking about 21st century law firm marketing. Let's do it.
Hey everybody, this is Nick Pavlidis. I am so excited that you're here for the first episode of the Attorney Marketing Institute podcast. Yes, we will have so much fun here talking about attorney marketing. We are not your typical attorney marketing company. We're not just sitting here putting you to SEO or asking you to pay to get on the top of some list. We're going to talk about marketing in this century. We're not going to be sitting there with our head down at our desk. We're going to be doing marketing that is purpose-driven, that helps you make more of your practice in less time and cut all the junk out that doesn't work for you. This is no one-size-fits-all marketing plan that we're going to help you develop. This is your marketing plan to build your practice the way you want it, to live your life the way you dream it can be. That's right. We are here to help you design your future. Forget about the past and design your future, then develop a plan to make that happen. Your past is only important in a sense that it influences who you are today, but tomorrow doesn't matter what you're practicing, doesn't matter where you're practicing, doesn't matter who you are and who your connections are. You can get closer to your dream practice tomorrow by starting to get a plan together. Doesn't matter where you are, doesn't matter where you want to go. We're going to draw a line right from where you are to where you want to go. And some people's lines might be longer than others. Some people's lines might not be so straight. Nobody's line's going to be a straight arrow. Once you start moving, you're going to get knocked left, you're going to get knocked right, you're going to get knocked down, but you're going to get back up, you're going to get pointed right back at that goal, and we are going to help you get there. If you want to be growing, we'll help you get going. So let's dig in. I don't care what your dreams are. If you are in-house and you want to be at a firm, we can help you get there. If you're at a firm, you want to be in-house, we can help you get there. If you're in one practice area, you want to transition to another one, that's challenging, but we can help you get there. We're going to share ways, tips, tricks, and stuff that works, because the difference between where you are now and where you want to go is just what you do starting today. Where you are now is a result of everything you've done in the past. Every choice you made, every turn you took has led you to where you are, and that's okay. If you're not happy where you are, we'll help you get somewhere else. Now, listen, it is not about kicking yourself. Sometimes we've all tried things. I've tried several things that have failed. And that's okay. Part of the reason why a lot of attorneys struggle with marketing is because they're learning from people who didn't or haven't had to market for years. If they're at a firm, they have a strong client base and they've had it for years. But you peel back the onion, you peel back the layers, and you look at how they developed their relationships to lead to their client relationships, or how they got their job. It's all about getting the right message from the right person in the right place at the right time. And that is not about luck. That is about finding who the right people are based on what you want to do, finding the places where they hang out in groups, positioning yourself in an authentic way to get in that room and to share value with them, for them, and to build those relationships. If you're in-house, it's because of a relationship. It's a relationship you had with somebody who knew a headhunter, who knew the business, who got you through the door, and the person or people who interviewed you and met with you liked you. They got to know you a little bit, and they got to trust you enough to hand you a bunch of money to do some work that really matters in their business. No matter how you peel it back, if you ask anybody you admire how they got their first client, how they got their last client, how they got every client, there's a relationship with them. There's a relationship in there that existed before the client relationship. It's either this person referred them to me, or that person lived on my street, the PTA, whatever it is. There's a relationship. So we're going to help you aim and we're going to help you fire in the right direction at the right target so you can build the right relationships. Look, this is not about tactics. The Attorney Marketing Institute is not about some fancy formula that's going to bring you traffic to your website magically until Google or Facebook decides to change their algorithm. This is about things that are sustainable. You peel back the onions. You peel back the layers of the onion for how anybody who you admire got their business. It's relationship driven. If you're doing something that works, I'm not going to tell you to stop it, but I'm going to tell you, listen, what happens when Google changes their algorithm? You're going to have to pay more for those keywords. What happens if Facebook changes their algorithm? You're going to have to pay to boost a post. Facebook is incredible. Google is fantastic, but if you're relying on tactics will be temporary. We're going to talk about ways to make meaningful changes, sustainable changes. And let me tell you, when you are struggling with something, how many times have you needed help or needed something and went to Google and got some real meaningful results? If you need help, you call somebody. You don't go, sometimes maybe you do go to Facebook and put a post and say, hey, can someone call me, I need help with this. Or maybe you go Google and you find some information, but if you want real reliable results, you call someone you trust. We're going to help you become that person for all of your future clients. We'll help you define how do you target a client, then how do you create multiple ways to describe what you do in a way that positions you to let them know that you're the right lawyer for them. And we're going to talk about all sorts of ways to build your practice. It's not your fault that you haven't built your practice or built a career the way you have just yet. The information that's out there is based on what worked years ago. When you're asking somebody how they got their first client, I was in a law firm for almost 10 years. And I brought in multiple clients, lots of clients, six-figure clients. As a young lawyer, I got writing opportunities, both in print and online, both in the United States and in Canada. I was practicing in New York. I was speaking, both having people come to me, to my law firm's office to hear me speak, not as part of a panel, but my name headliner as a fourth, fifth year associate. And I had 75 general counsel coming to hear me speak. And those were my ideal clients at the time. And I got invited and spoke at conferences in New York and another one in Toronto on some legal topics for an industry that I was looking to do more business with. And I did this not because I was the best lawyer for the subject matter, but because I built the best relationships with the right people and I served them well, I gave them value, and I didn't hard sell. I reached out and said, how can I help you? And you know what? I did it in a way that ultimately helped me. I've been out of the law firm for 5 years now, almost, since February 2000. So we're starting maybe 3.5 years, although it seems like a lot longer than that. But I've been out of the law firm working with people, generating content for them, working in-house for a while, and training people on how to build their law practices, to build better law practices. And it's been years since I did all that stuff in New York, and those relationships are still bringing me business, referrals for my content, referrals for my Attorney Marketing Institute. So I'm going to help you do that. Don't worry if something hasn't worked. So a lot of times people are told 10 different things by 10 different people. And if they try each one of them won't work. What you need to do is strip out whatever anyone told you about what worked for them and decide first where you want to go. It doesn't matter if you're at a law firm and you're miserable, maybe you got to move. If you're doing one type of law and you don't like it, maybe you got to switch. Or if you're like me, I loved so much about the practice of law. I have so many friends still at my old firm, and I loved practicing law. I loved speaking. I loved writing. I loved communicating. I loved marketing. I was good at so much of it, and I was great at the practice of law. I still share stories about all the excitement we had practicing law. But I didn't like all the drama. I didn't like all the fighting. And I was a corporate and bankruptcy litigator for the most part, did lots of different types of litigation, mostly commercial stuff. But I didn't like all of the fighting, the drama, and especially the unpredictability of my schedule. For the last 2-3 years, I was on a couple of huge cases, hundreds of millions into the billions of dollars at stake. And that meant that at any time, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Tuesday, doesn't matter what day of the week or what time it was, something was always on my mind about the cases that I was working on. And I was always just one jerk away from having to drop everything and run to the office, even on my birthday. And woe is me, right? No, not woe is me. I decided that I wanted to take the parts of the practice of law that I loved, the writing, the speaking, the marketing, the content, the networking, all of that stuff that I loved, leave behind all of the things that I couldn't stand, the drama, the fighting, the unpredictability, and build over a period of years, build into something where I could control most of my day. I could do work that I loved, and I could have support from people doing the things that I didn't like that are necessary to run a business. We'll talk about all that stuff on the Attorney Marketing Institute podcast. Now, I am super excited because we are going to help you. We're going to help you, and we're going to encourage your dreams. Your dreams, there's nothing wrong with. I don't care who told you it's unrealistic. I don't care who told you that you needed to do one thing one way. They were lying. I went from a large law firm, and I decided that I was going to become a ghostwriter and an attorney marketing coach. And guess what? I didn't do it irresponsibly. I was a single income earner making large law firm money. And I had 2 small kids living in Hoboken, New Jersey for 5 years. After 5 years living in New York City, practicing in New York City for about 10 years. And my wife was staying home with our kids, and she was not earning an income. She was doing lots of work. So I don't say that she didn't work. I said she stayed home with our kids, and she didn't earn an income. I was a single income earner for a family of 4, small family, young family of 4. And I decided that I was going to have a different end. I wasn't going to end up just working my tail off. I wanted my life to be different. So what did I do? The first thing I did was I contacted everybody on my list who I knew had some tie to where I wanted to be physically, geographically in Massachusetts. I found a job, and I knew what was important to me. I wanted to get rid of that unpredictability of my schedule because I wanted to do the ghostwriting and I wanted to do the coaching. So I negotiated as part of that arrangement that my hours would be predictable and that my email would stay off of my phone. And though I didn't care what they paid me, don't tell them that now. I didn't tell them that then, although I did. I said, how much are you going to pay me? They said this, and it was a big pay cut. And I said, well, after I swallowed my tongue, they noticed that I swallowed my tongue, but I took a big pay cut. They were very generous to me, still made great money. But the 2 things that were important to me were my weekends and my nights. I didn't want my email infiltrating anything because I knew I was building my businesses on the side. And I wanted to have that general schedule. I wanted my email off my phone, and I wanted to work. And I worked a lot of hours. I worked 50, 60 hours a week. It wasn't that I was working a part-time job. But then at nights and on the weekends, I was building. When my family was asleep, I was building my businesses on the side. And guess what? This large law firm, international manufacturing company, corporate lawyer is now a full-time, well, not full-time ghostwriter. I own a full-time ghostwriting business where I do a lot of the writing, but I also have a team of people who do writing. And I get people's books in bookstores. I get people's content online, and I do it efficiently. We're going to talk all about social media, all about how you can be present on social media, interact the right, most effective and efficient ways, build an audience, build authority, both through all that content. We'll talk about all that stuff. But I did it. I went from a large law firm. I went from a top tier law school to a large law firm to an international manufacturing company to a ghostwriter and coach. And you know what people say? They don't say, I was so scared that people were going to be like, what's wrong with you? But you know what I did? I did it the smart way. I did it the slow way. I did it the steady way. I built it on the side, and only when it was ready, when the businesses were ready for me to launch, did I leave the job. And now I do that full time, and nobody calls me crazy. Everybody asks me, how did you do it? My former colleagues, everybody. It is not because I'm smarter than anybody. It's not because I'm better than anybody. It's not because I'm more egotistical than anybody, thinking I could do anything I wanted. No, it's because I made a plan. I had a target. I got knocked all over the place, but I got up, I got going, I got pointed in the right direction. My dreams were my dreams, and there's no right or wrong. It just is. So we're going to talk all about your dreams, and I want to hear from your dreams. Email me, nick@attorneymarketinginstitute.com, and tell me your craziest dream about your career. Where do you want to be 5 years from now? And where are you now? That's what I want to hear. Okay, so your failures, it doesn't matter what you've done. People give you bad information. They give you information that's out of your control, and you feel like you have to do 50 different things. You can market and you can transition and you can build your law practice in less time if you stop listening to all the junk out there. Now you can tell my voice is a little different. We're not going to be a little corporate, suit and tie, although you'll see me in suits and ties for sure, but we're not going to be stuffy. We're going to talk about real stuff. We're going to get real about the real stuff. And if you're ready to go, if you're ready to grow, we'll get you there. So listen, when one person says you got to go to this meeting, another person says you got to go to this event, another person says you got to do this, you got to be on this committee, man, the question really should then be internalized to say, how does being on that committee or going to that meeting or doing that whatever activity, first of all, is it enjoyable? There's no reason you have to be miserable enjoying in building your practice. If you're miserable building your practice, you're probably going to be miserable practicing whatever that misery brings your way. Because in order to build more of that, you're going to be miserable. You're going to have to do more of the miserable stuff. Why live that life? Why not do fun stuff you enjoy, stuff you geek out about? I know people who geek out about tax law. They could talk about tax all day long. And I'm somewhat like that. I like hearing how I'm a numbers guy. But man, if you told me I could build a multi-million-dollar tax practice by going and sitting in CPA's offices all day, no, thank you. I don't care about that. There are so many ways to make money. Let's help you find your way. Now listen, it's scary. Don't let anybody tell you, I don't care what expert you are there, what system they have. If it's me, if it's someone else, there are lots of places you can learn how to build a law practice. It is scary. So don't go into anything thinking, I'm scared, so I must be doing it wrong. No. You know what? Sometimes people are scared because what happens if they do it right and they build something that sucks? Excuse my language, but what happens? Sometimes I'm scared that it's going to work, that what I'm doing is going to work. When I was practicing law, there were so many times where I was bringing in businesses. I didn't want to do the work, so I didn't market for litigation stuff. Every single thing I brought in was some other practice work. Like people were asking me, what kind of law do you practice? I didn't want to tell them what kind of law I practice because then I'd have to do more fighting. I'd have to fight with people more and I'd have more unpredictability. So what did I want to do? I'll take the work, the litigation work that came my way, but I'm selling corporate stuff and I'm selling intellectual property stuff and I'm selling international trade stuff and I'm selling all export compliance, all that stuff. That's the stuff that I brought in. I did not, and immigration and other things, I did not want to sell my stuff. Why? Because I was afraid I was going to get it and then have to do more of that. So for me, sometimes it's scary. It's scary to fail, but sometimes it's scary to succeed too. And a lot of people hesitate in their marketing because, man, if it works, then they get more of the stuff they hate. So let's talk about that. We're going to talk all about that. Don't worry. Don't worry about someone telling you if you don't do this type of marketing, your life's going to suck. That's not true. If you don't do SEO, your life, you can build a big practice with no SEO. You can build a big practice with no Facebook ads. You can build a huge practice with no social media presence. I'll teach you how to do all that stuff, or I'll help you do all that stuff. I'll share with you some of the lessons, and I'll bring on some experts here. This isn't just going to be me, some talking head screaming into the microphone. No, you can tell, I've already said this, you can tell this is not your typical attorney marketing. This is not some stuffy place. We're going to have fun. Because I'm not going to do something that makes me miserable. And the second this makes me miserable, forget about it. I love this stuff, and we're going to have so much fun with it. So don't worry. It's okay to be scared. And sometimes it's scary because what you're doing, you feel like you're stuck. So we'll help you get unstuck. And you don't get unstuck by dropping everything irresponsibly. You get unstuck by having a better plan, having a different plan, having a direction to go into, and then slowly building that. If someone's doing SEO, like I said, if you're doing SEO and it's working, or if you're doing Facebook ads and it's working, fine, keep it going. But let's build something here on the side to bring you in another direction. We're not going to kill the goose that's laying the golden eggs, but we're just going to get some more goose. We're going to get better goose. Maybe you don't like geese. Maybe you don't like fowl. Maybe you want to have some deer. So we'll get you some deer. How about that? All right. And you know what? It's cool to be suspicious. This is really important stuff. I do not want you to think that there's some magic pill. There's absolutely no get rich quick scheme. There are ways to turn on marketing so you can get leads. Yes, we'll talk about funnels and building email lists and all this stuff about how you can take your intellectual capacity and put it out there so that way you don't have to be the one constantly doing the selling. A lot of that's with social content. We'll talk about the best, most efficient ways to do that. Follow me on LinkedIn, Nick Pavlidis. You look me up. Also on Twitter, at Nick Pavlidis, NickPavlidis. You'll see a lot of tweeting. I don't sit there all day in front of Twitter and just post random thoughts. I take some time, I set it aside, and I schedule it out, and then I interact with people who interact with me. We'll talk all about that on its own episode. So we'll teach you efficient ways. We'll teach you effective ways, and we'll teach you that there's no one size fits all. Some of you will love episode 3. I don't know what's on it yet. Some people will love episode 6, but not everybody will find that they need to do everything. And I don't want you to do everything, because if you're doing all these things, you can cut away all the junk that's not leading you where you want to go. The first step is to decide where you want to go. So I want to invite you on a webinar. It is going to be a free webinar. We're going to talk all about this podcast. So make sure that you click subscribe or press subscribe wherever you are. If you're on iTunes or if you're on Stitcher or wherever you're listening to this, subscribe. We are going to have episodes populating all the time. Don't worry, it's not going to be more frequently than weekly. And sometimes it will be less frequently than that. But we're going to have regular episodes dropping into your phone where we're talking with experts. We're going to talk with industry people. We got some video folks coming to tell you how to do effective video. I got some outsourcing experts. I got some funnel building experts. I got some relationship building experts. I got lots of really great people. And what I want you to do is I do not want you to try to do everything. I want you to take the things that resonate with you and apply it in your practice. So here's the webinar. This is the most important. And then if you're listening to this later on, I will have the link remain live so you can watch it as a replay. Totally fine. So don't wait, just go to this page and you'll see when the next webinar that we're doing live is on this topic. But if you sign up, I promise you I will get you a replay link of a pre-recorded or previously live webinar. That's attorneymarketinginstitute.com/goals, GOALS, attorneymarketinginstitute.com/goals. This is the first step in any marketing practice. If anyone tells you differently, if someone tells you they need to do an audit on your website and all that junk, that's useful, absolutely useful. I do that with clients. But the first step is to know where you want to go, because then how do you know what to audit if you don't know where you want to go? If you have a criminal law practice and you want to concentrate on something, Well, it's important to know what you want to concentrate on. If you want to concentrate on DUIs, then the analysis you can be useful. Say, well, this doesn't really talk about DUIs. Maybe we need more DUI content. Where can I go? Who can I meet? Who are the influencers who connect with people who can introduce me to clients? How can I get my content? What kind of guide can I put on my website for people who are looking for content like that or for representation like that, to say, wow, this person knows what they're talking about. They must be the expert or the person who I need to connect with. So first thing you got to do is know where you're going. So I have a presentation about goal setting for lawyers, and we've all heard these acronyms and this and that, like SMART goals. SMART goals are important. Smarter goals, that's another acronym, but I'm going to teach you how to build the smartest goals. Once you have your goals, once you have good goals, you just take the pieces that lead you in that direction and do it. Now listen, change is possible. You can change no matter where you are. If you are doing corporate litigation like I was. Now, I was in New York. My family's all from Massachusetts, so it was important. Even my wife's side of the family was all from Massachusetts. It was important to us before the kids got in school to make that change, to take control of our lives, and to come home near our family. Our parents weren't getting any younger. Our kids were getting to be of school age, and we wanted to come home, so we did. That was the change we wanted. We made it happen. But I was suspicious too. I was nervous. I was scared. Not just because the ghostwriting and the coaching, but even going in-house. I mean, I was a litigator. And when I went in-house, I was doing commercial. I started over, and it wasn't a smooth transition. For me, it was a complete 180. It was just a completely different area of law. Now, I had litigated agreements, but now I was drafting them. It's a completely different set. But it worked out. And it was scary. I was suspicious that it was going to work. I was there almost 3 years, and it was fine. We left on great terms, and they are happy for me now doing what I'm doing. And when I started telling the story, I was open with them. I said, this is why I want that time. I want to build my businesses on the side. And people said I was crazy. They said, why would you leave a job like this, a firm like that? Why would you want to leave it? But you know what? Because it's not worth working towards other people's goals. You know, there are so many people who built the practice they have because the person ahead of them in line or in time built it, and they retired and they inherited their clients. Or because, hey, well, you know, it works for Sally, so I'm just going to do it Sally. You know what? Build your own practice. Don't build Sally's practice. So yes, change is possible. If, for example, you're doing corporate litigation and you want to get into entertainment law, well, you know what? It might be a little bit of a process. It might be a little bit of a shift, but you can get there in steps. For example, entertainment law. Identify the types of people and companies you need to connect with. Sell them your existing services, and then slowly build those relationships with them until you get the other services. Totally doable. You will sell them, what's your corporate litigation? Give me your commercial litigation work. I mean, obviously you're not going to say it like that, but you build it until they trust you to give you their commercial litigation work. Then you start doing other work with them. You build the relationships, and you start doing the simple stuff. Hey, I can handle that stuff for you, no problem. Or you partner up with someone, you bring someone on board who has that sort of experience, and then you get working on that work with them, and you position yourself in social, and you position yourself in your networking to meet those companies. And next thing you know, by doing your existing work for a different type of client, and then slowly bringing that in a matter of years, just a couple of years, you can really, really transform your practice without killing the golden goose, your commercial, your corporate litigation work. So we'll talk about all sorts of different strategies on how to make changes. It's really, really important to remain suspicious. That suspicion of me, of information, and even of yourself. Now, I'm going to tell you something. We are the most critical of ourselves, and I still remain the most critical. Every time a book that comes out of my ghostwriting business goes to a client, I know it's the best in the business. I know it's a great, great product. I know we write great, and we really plan. And that's the key for creating content, is that it's planned and it's purposeful. I know we do a great job, but still, the work product, it's nervous. It's my baby. It's our baby. So yes, it's perfectly normal, and I want you to remain suspicious, because with me, that little self-doubt makes me work hard. Now, there's self-doubt that makes people crumble, but self-doubt just makes me work harder. And I want you to take that energy, that self-doubt, that fear of what am I doing, and contrast that with the alternative. Now, you can bust through that self-doubt. You can do what you need to do to get through it. You can work through it. You can push through it, or you can cower and stick with getting more of what you got. And if you're not comfortable with what you got, why would you want more of it? You keep doing what you're doing, you're going to keep getting what you're getting. You do more of what you're doing, you're going to get more of what you're getting. So I'm going to help you do different things. And yes, I want you to remain suspicious. And anything I say, I want you to push back. I want you to push back hard against me. I want you to email me, Nick@Attorney Marketing Institute. Call me out on social media. Go ahead. Tell me how I'm crazy. I love it. And you know what? I am going to respect it, and we'll have some great conversations. I am not like one of those other marketing experts out there who has their way, and this is my way, and you don't understand. I want to learn from you too, because you know what? There are thousands of people listening to this message right now, and I guarantee you have tried things and you've succeeded with things that I haven't done and my clients haven't done. So I want to learn from you too. I want you to share what's working. This is not going to be a one-way me talking head to you. This is going to be a conversation. We're going to share tips. We're going to share tricks. We're going to share techniques. I'm going to bring other experts in, and we got something really, really fun coming up this fall. So make sure you go to attorneymarketinginstitute.com and get that goals seminar, because as we approach the end of the year, it's important that you have the right goals set for 2018 and beyond, and we'll help you work through it. So don't think this is a one way. I want you to interact. I want you to email me. Go to Nick@Attorney Marketing Institute, or email me at Nick@Attorney Marketing Institute. And we have a Facebook page, and there are people from around the world. It's just a few dozen people. We just launched it, and I haven't promoted it, but we have a few dozen people from around the world, lawyers. It's only for lawyers and business development executives at law firms. We got big firms, we got solos, we got small firms. We got lots of cool people in there from Europe, from Africa, from the United States, and in North America and South America. We have people in there from all around the world. We're learning from each other what's working. So that's what it's designed to do. And I want it to get more interactive. We're going to build a cool community there. And I got something real special coming up this fall to really help you, the people who are serious about taking their practice to another level, or maybe another direction, or even take their career to another direction. Because every lawyer, I don't care if you're in a firm, I don't care if you're in-house, I don't care if you are a public defender or in the DA's office or whatever you are. I want every lawyer to build a personal brand, because the best law firms are built on people. Yes, you might have a Skadden, or you might have a firm like a Wachtell or something like that, where the firm has a brand. And even some other large firms have brands. If there's a bet the company case for $1 billion company, yes, I understand that the general counsel will say, you know what, it's in my best interest. I'm going to just say, to save my job, I hired Skadden. So if everything goes wrong, at least I can say I hired Skadden. But that's a very small sliver of the market. I don't care where you are. I practiced in New York City for 10 years at a large law firm. That's a very small sliver of the market. This is a big world. There are plenty of clients to go around. So if you are a growth-minded, motivated lawyer, I want you to listen to this. I want you to subscribe it. And I want you to focus on collaboration, and I want you to focus on cooperation, because there's no such thing as competition. There might be two people looking for the same client, but what you do during that process is entirely about you and not about them. Now, you may be able to position yourself there, be part of the conversation that says why you are a better fit than them, but what you do will win the client. Don't worry about what the other person's doing. I'm going to help you become you, and that's what's going to matter. Most lawyers are hired because of relationship. 99.9%, that's an unscientific number, but it's probably a low ball, are hired because of their relationship. So we're going to position you, we're going to get you authority, we're going to help you get all this stuff. And what's important, we're going to do it in a way that matters to you. So this is it for the introductory episode of the Attorney Marketing Institute podcast. I want you to get in that Facebook group. Go to attorneymarketinginstitute.com/free Facebook group. Get in there. You'll see it's casual. You'll see me on live video in there from time to time. We got other people interacting. You can ask questions. We'll help you out. And then I want you to sign up for the Goals webinar. I want you to go to attorneymarketinginstitute.com/goals. That's the link. You sign up, you put your email address, your first name. That'll get you the link to the free webinar. And I'll send you some more cool tips, tricks, content. You'll get notified whenever we do something that is important, that is helpful, and you will not get bombarded. But go there to attorneymarketinginstitute.com/goals, set some goals with me, and we will help you achieve them. That's it. Send me your emails. Connect with me on Twitter. I want to connect with you. LinkedIn, link me in. I'm Nick Pavlidis there. And if you go to, maybe I'll do a link. If you go to attorneymarketinginstitute.com, actually my LinkedIn profile is right at the top of that page. So just click on that, connect with me. We'll see you next time.